诸位至诚，礼佛行三问讯礼一问讯。三称佛号：南无本师释迦牟尼佛。南无本师释迦牟尼佛。南无本师释迦牟尼佛。Presume you all have done your meditation, so we'll just dive right in. If you all didn't and you all were chit-chatting, good evening, brothers and sisters who have been chit-chatting. Chinese given. So everybody mood, Are you all in the New Year mood already? Oh, never have I had such resounding yes before. The one time I don't have to say yes. Yeah, it is indeed quite in the mood. In fact, some of the staff were like, huh? There's still class? Yeah, and some students were equally surprised or amazed. Huh? We're still having class? Yeah, we're still having class. Who asked you to be attending a class where when I was newly ordained, the first 3 to 4 years was spent in a monastery where we don't celebrate Chinese New Year. Chinese New Year was just another day. Yeah, the whole year round, we would have the same schedule, week by week. Yeah, we don't even celebrate Vesak Day. Yeah, Vesak Day was just another Uposatha day. Yeah, we don't have any special celebration. We have no Sampui Pai to celebrate. Nobody come out during Vesak Day because we're in the middle of the forest where nobody knows that we are there. Yeah, usually only when some Americans drive past Highway 64, and usually if you go west, you won't even see us. If you go east, then you will see our little signboard, brown in color. Yeah, and that's how many people come up. Yeah, we'll be like amused, like, how do you find us? Like, oh, well, I wasn't really looking for you, but I drove past Highway 64 East and I saw a signboard. I was like, oh, what is this? A monastery here in the middle of New Mexico. Yeah. It is not Mexico, it's New Mexico. It is a state in the southern part of US. Southern part of US. So it's still in US. Yeah, my friends and colleagues, they were so confused. They're like, oh, you're going to become a monk. And that was many years back. Yeah. Wow. So, where are you going? US. Become a monk in US. Which part of US? New Mexico. Huh? Mexico? So because we don't have any celebration at all, so in fact it took me a while to get used to having Vesak Day. Yeah, every day was the same. Because Vesak Day is on the full moon, so it's just another Uposatha day where we recite the precepts. Yeah. We still have lesson as per normal. We still have classes. Everything is as per normal. Yeah. So much more for Chinese New Year. The only thing maybe a bit special about Chinese New Year is that they will usually maybe have 水饺. They will cook 水饺 for Chinese New Year. Yeah. And I think, after that, the afternoon, if I don't recall wrongly, we still have lessons. So be thankful that we're actually taking a break next week. We are taking a break next week. Yeah. So where did we stop? Today is the 4th of, So we have already reached number 7. Finally. Yeah. Number 7. We have 93 more to go. Yeah. You all didn't get that part. We are now on the number 7 consciousness. We have 93 more things to go through. So, a bit of recap. This is the commentary on the 100 Dhammas. We have this commentary based on the sub-commentary, which is the Chinese text that we're looking at. And then within this 100, it is split into 5. The first one being heart, second one being sing, then sing fa, then sing so fa, se fa, then sing bu xiang yi sing fa, then wu wei fa. Yeah, sorry, I do notice this about myself. When I learn something and it was in a certain language, then I need a bit of translation internally. Yeah, so we are now at the first category, sing fa. Yeah, the mental components, or the heart, if you will. Yeah, the heart, if you will. And within this is split into 8 different sections, and we are at the 7th section, the tainted mind. Yeah, mo na shi, the mana consciousness. Mana consciousness. So last week we explained a bit about it. Yeah. Where did we stop exactly? Did we even go into the detail? Just the first section here, right? Yeah. The Sun Wei, have I gone through that? No, right? Yeah. So last week, there's this group chat where some of them would ask irrelevant questions. Yeah, I had to poke at them a bit. Keep telling them, stop asking questions that are irrelevant to your practice. Now, I'm not saying this to discourage you from asking questions. Feel free to ask questions. I may not answer them. The reason is because there's just so much things that the Buddha covered. Okay? For example, one of the questions that was raised was, about the 12 links. So, those formless beings, do they have link number 3 to number 9? Now, not that I'm so petty, I'm actually holding a grudge. I just happen to have good memory, okay? I'm serious, I have pretty good memory. So, this is where I say, that's not a very relevant question. And in order to explain that in a meaningful way that they can understand, or whoever can understand, I need to build up more scaffolding. Yeah, the reason why you're asking the question is because the scaffolding is not there yet. Yeah, so I refuse to answer them. They tried in various ways to rephrase the question and then try to chuck me don't know whether no or not. It's okay, I know, but I'm not going to tell you the answer. Yeah, so you can try me. So anyway, the 7 consciousness. But there was one thing that was shared which I thought is important to highlight, which is that the attachment part. Yeah. When I mentioned the 见分 and 相分, maybe there's some clarification. Yeah. Last week I mentioned about how we typically are attached not directly to the alaya consciousness. Because we haven't even learned about, we don't even know that there's alaya consciousness before we attend this class, or before we read about the Yogacara school. So how can we be attached to it without knowing that it exists? We are typically attached to our physical body, attached to our mental constructs, our views, our opinions, our perceptions, and so on. All these can be grouped under the first 7 consciousness. The first 7 consciousness. And if I misinterpret or misrepresented it, then I want to correct that. That the Jianfeng refers to this first 7 consciousness, which is what can be seen of the 8th consciousness. What can be seen of the 8th consciousness? The 8th consciousness, it is a repository for seeds, karmic seeds. But we cannot see it directly. That which can be seen is that which is manifested from it. Become visible from the 8th consciousness. When we say that the 7th consciousness, which is basically the mind, is attached to the Jianfen, it's basically saying it's attached to the visible aspect that is manifested from the 8th consciousness. Understand? Okay. Today we are going to cover 8 consciousness also, so we'll deal with that. Okay. So as far as last week, a lot of you have again the deer in the headlights look. Did I mention about it in this class? Sutra. Okay. You have the deer in the headlights look. Have you heard of this expression? In the US, there's a lot of highway, right? So there are a lot of deers and elks that will just cross the highway. And then late in the middle of the night when you're driving, there's no road lamps. So you have to turn on the headlamp high beam. And then the deer walk, then suddenly you go around the bend and then shine at it. So when I mentioned about some of these things, you all had that look. That's the deer and the look. Some of you don't have that look. Some of you have the, what's going on look. Do you remember what we covered last week? Now I'm torn between those students who overread, overstudy, and overthink what I've taught, versus those who cannot remember what I've taught. It's a very interesting relationship we have here. Can you remember? Do I need to recap a bit? How many of you need me to recap? Raise your hands. I won't penalize you, I won't judge you. Just raise your hand if you need me to recap. How many of you were not here last week? That's a handful, okay. How many of you need me to recap a bit of last week? Not much, huh? Okay, so I can presume that all of you are okay. No, I'm serious. If you need me to recap, then I need to recap, because otherwise, moving forward, things are not going to make sense because last week there are some key points, These are crucial definition of the 7th consciousness. Everybody okay? Okay, the rest of those who raise your hand, stay back after this. We'll stay under. So last week we covered this, just a brief. And the gist of last week was basically the first 2 lines about how the mind itself, the 7th consciousness, which is basically the mind, is the tainting element. It's the part about our whole existence that is tainted, defiled, tainted. It is the driving force behind our agitation, our defilements, behind the wrong views that we have, and so on and so forth. So what is exactly is it tainted? The word taint, it basically means impure. Or it basically means that it is in a way, it doesn't directly say dirty. Defiled is directly dirty. Taint means that it's impure. Not pure. That's basically it. In what way is it not pure? It is impure in the sense that it has this wrong view and attachment. To perceive, to hold on to, and perceive that the first 7 consciousness, everything that is manifested from the 8th consciousness, is basically mine, me, or myself. Yeah. It has this perception that is mine, me, and myself, and is attached to this perception, attached to them in this way, and worse still, we even insist that we are correct. Yeah, we even insist that we are correct. Yeah, so we have the 我吃. The 吃 is basically delusion. Yeah, we have the delusion of an I. Yeah, we have the delusion of an I. Tainted. Oh, the seven consciousness. That's why it's called a tainted mind. Yeah, the sixth consciousness is considered to be neither pure nor impure. Pusa and Pu. Yeah. It's the seven consciousness that's the problem. Now, bear in mind, not all schools agreed with this stand. Okay, this is purely Yogacara. And you may also have your own opinion. But there's a reason why they established this. Yeah. But I need to cover the scaffolding first before I go into that. Okay? Why say that number 7 consciousness is tainted? Yeah, why not number 6? Yeah, why not number 6 and 7? Yeah, why not everything? Yeah, why? Okay? So we will explore that in a short while. But so the first one, first thing here, 我吃, the delusion of a self or I, yeah, and then the view of an I. Yeah, but this is why. What's wrong with having a view of an I? It's a wrong view. What makes you say that it's a wrong view? Well, what is I? What is self? Yeah, what exactly is that? In the Buddha's time, there is actually a strict definition of it. And what is it? What is today's date again? 4th. Very good. 4th of February. It is a very interesting thing that I've been thinking to myself for the past maybe about close to 9 years. Every time I have class, I'll ask the students this simple question. What is today's date? Yeah. I'll ask students this question. Then I realized that, I also do that when I do counseling. Yeah. And it appears that it may actually have a positive effect on you guys. Because at least you can say that, well, you answered one correct question. You answered one question correctly. Yeah. No, it's not like teasing you out. Okay, although I do that a lot. But this is actually because you see, Buddhism sometimes can be so chim, then it's like, well, you feel very demoralized, Like attend week in, week out, day in, day out, and then I don't know what's going on. Well, at least you got one question correct. But the next thing is, what is the self? Yeah. Let's see whether you can understand this correctly. What is the self? What is self? Can someone give me, just check your phone, take out your smartphone, any one of you, type into the dictionary, self. Then give me an answer. Let's just look at a textbook answer. What is self? Then after that, I'll give you the textbook definition from the Buddha's time. Yeah, because the whole framework of a good chunk of the Buddha's teaching is framed or positioned with respect to how people look at themselves last time. Yeah. More specifically, how the practitioners, and we are not talking about some joker on the street, We're talking about those who are ascetics, those who are Brahmins, yeah, and there are even those who are said to be undefeatable, yeah. But when they came to see the Buddha and they tried to apply their logic and everything, their rhetorics, then they were defeated. Yeah, and being defeated, they became the Buddha's disciple. Okay, so what is the right? What? A person Yeah, unique individual. This is so beautiful. This very definition. Is it? It's clear, huh? Okay. A person, a unique individual. So think about it. By virtue of that, from when you are young to now, okay, is it the same individual? It's not the same individual. So already sort of half break this definition of a person. Yeah. In fact, we don't even have to go so far as when you are young. Yeah. From moment to moment, physically we are changing. Externally, we may not change so fast, for better or worse. Yeah. Sometimes I wonder if every day when we wake up, like we see the aging process really quickly, would we still have all this problem? We probably cherish our life a lot more, Yeah. We would realize that our life is not so permanent. That maybe it is not such a big deal. We should just forgive the other person and just move on more important things. Yeah. But because every morning when we wake up and we go to the loo and look at the mirror, it looks more or less like the same person that went to sleep yesterday. Yeah. This is why the Buddha, various masters, describe this world as filled with falsehood. 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 Let me speak about stiff upper lip. There's this ongoing joke about stiff upper lip. Yeah, so the Buddha in various ways, in numerous places, and all the masters keep on coming back to this, describing that this world has a tendency to lie to us. By the way, it is not that the world lies to us. It's just that the way we are, we just don't see it, Yeah, we just don't see it. But at the same time, if you were to pay attention, you do see it. It's just that we pay attention to the wrong things. And that's why that the Buddha advised us, don't pay attention to all those things that is going to confuse you. Pay attention inwards. Look at this body for a start. Then later look at the world outside. Look at your mind first. Look at the different sensations that arise. Look at this mind. Examine carefully. In a way, the world is not trying to lie to us. It's just that we just don't see it. So it appears to have this nature, if you will, of falsehood. Yeah. But if we can see, if we were to pay attention, then you realize that, we are physically always changing, and then mentally, we're always changing also. But sometimes our habits, we like to stay in a state, When we're happy, we want to stay in that state. When we're unhappy, sometimes we want to stay in that state also, Yeah, when we are unhappy about something and our friends come and counsel us and tell us, don't be angry lah. Why you think I'm biased? Do you know what that person did? Do you know what he did? I have all the reasons to be angry. Let me be angry for at least 3 days, 3 nights. Of course, on the other hand, because we are so used to seeing a certain persistence or momentum, if you see a person get angry and then just turn around. So, as you were saying, how do you feel about such a person? You may end up thinking that this person is being fake, Yeah, when a person is upset, you expect the person to continue to be upset for a while. Imagine the next time when you see your friend or your spouse or family, being moody. And then you go over there, hey, are you okay? Quite upset. Don't be upset lah. Oh, okay. Yeah, think about it. If our spouse or family or friend, whoever, were to just like, okay, I guess, can you take it? I mean, it'd be like now in the class, you think, yeah, that's nice, right? But if it happens to you, you'll be like, no, wait, no, wait, get back to the angry state. Yeah, so you see, we unconsciously have gotten so used to this like permanence that we don't really expect, even as much as we tell people get over it, like, but we actually deep down inside, we already unconsciously actually have this expectation that the person is going to be like that for a while. Yeah. Why? Because this world so far, day in day out, at the level that we observe ourselves and this world, it seems to be like that. Yeah. And perhaps that's why over time we come out with amazing phrases like leopard cannot change its spot. Yeah. 江山易改，本性难移, and things like that. Of course, and I mentioned in the Heart Sutra class about how if you look at these two idioms, you find that they have slightly different angle. Western view cannot change its spot. Eastern view can change, but a bit difficult. Yeah. How difficult? As difficult as changing the empire. Yeah. Or the mountain, if you will, depending on how you look at it. So, a person, a self, yeah, we have this view, the view of a self. View of what? Basically this, that there is a person who is a unique individual. But how did the people in the Buddha's time look at themselves? Oh, wow. Your consciousness of your own identity. Okay. So, operative word identity. Now, bear in mind, although it's also the same word consciousness, I would go out on a limb and suggest that the dictionary, when they say consciousness of what? Of our identity. Yeah? A few key things. Here is basically just the English word, nothing to do with Yogacara, okay? Yeah, it just means like you could substitute this with awareness. Yeah? Awareness of our own identity. Yeah, that's basically what we call the self. But here, key thing. Our identity. The identity refers to the view itself. Yeah? Or whatever roles you impute onto whatever things that you call self. Yeah? And another thing, our. It's not some other people's, it's our. My, me. This belongs to me. Yeah? This identity belongs to me. Yeah? And hence the mine, me, or myself. In the Chinese tradition, it is reduced to 我所. When you see these three characters together, it is a technical term. Please don't split them up in any other way. It doesn't matter where the punctuation is. There's only one way to read this. 我所. Yeah. So this is 我 is the I, refers to the self, etc. 我所 is my possession. 我所拥有. Okay? 我所拥有. Remember in the earlier session, I mentioned about 能跟所. Yeah? 我是能, 所就是所了. Yeah? Our possession is the object subject to us. Yeah? So, 我所. Now you may think, how about the earlier phrase I said, mine, me, and myself. So these two are basically this. Yeah, 我所. Me is basically the 我. Okay? So, I still haven't touched on how exactly do they define the self. Those who have been attending the Heart Sutra or the SGC, what is the definition of a self? There are 3 points. Huh? If I write down the first one, you all should be able to recap and remember. Chang, Heng, Zhu. I will write down the English text in a short while. Wu, Number 3. Yes. Is it a 车 or new inside? I think it's a new, right? Is it? I think so. 主宰性. This is lao. Oh, sorry. Yeah, correct. It's a 性. Yeah. 宰, I think. Can someone check 主宰的宰? 主宰性. So, the first one, 长恒住. Eternal persistence. I will explain, then you will know what this is. So the first, 长恒住, eternal and persistent. The second, unchanging. The third, control, in control. 主宰性, 性 means nature, yeah, of the nature of being in control. Now, not everybody will agree with this definition of self. Yeah? And it is not that the Buddha come up with this definition. It is not that there is actually such a self and then Buddha teach no self and destroy this self. It is that in the Buddha's time, there were individuals. The individuals had different ideas about this world, and some of them posit that this body, some people say that this body is me, yeah. But then they, at some point, human beings must have thought, hey, but if this physical body is me, but the other guy, he just collapsed the other day and then he don't move anymore. So what happened to him? Or he died. Yeah. So there are some guys who say, hey, how can this self just die? That would be very scary, isn't it? That the self can just die and disappear. Because eventually the body do disappear, Then you cannot find that person anymore. Now, there are many development. If you look at anthropological studies, they have all kinds of theories and findings about how religion, early human concepts evolve and so on and so forth. But some of these seem to map with the 2,600 years ago, that point where the Buddha come in. If you can humor me, then perhaps it is possible that most people, most civilizations would have seen that we all die somehow, someday. Yeah. But when things are good, who wants to die? Who wants to die when things are good? No, nobody wants to die when things are good. It's only when things are not going very well. Yeah. And you cannot find a way to solve the problem. Yeah. If you can find a way to solve the problem, nobody wants to die. Yeah. Throughout history, in almost all civilizations, all monarchs, at some point, they stop conquering others, and then they say, hey, they either go spiritual or they say, go spiritual and then try to attain eternal life. Yeah, whether through alchemy, yeah, or through religion. Throughout history, this has always been going on. From the early Egyptians to even the Aztecs, the early civilization. Yeah, but within the Buddhist text, there's no mention of this civilization because the early texts are mainly focused on when the Buddha was around and his teachings to the people in the Indian continent. So I don't want to go and suggest that, if the Buddha met the Aztec, what would he have said? That's speculation. If you look at this three definition, to me it addresses some of the concerns that even today we have. Yeah, not having something that is secure, permanent. Yeah, that there are just so much changes that we cannot cope, and we don't want to cope. We just cannot deal with it. Yeah. In a way, this is linked to certain qualities of religion. Most religion would have some omnipotent being who is in absolute control. Yeah. Not just Christianity, but in most religion. Yeah. Throughout history, most religion would have some being who is omnipotent, all-powerful, in other words. Omnipresent and all-knowing. This kind of answers part of it. In the Buddha's time, the Brahmins had this idea that there's a self. We all have self. Yeah? But our self is weak and small. Yeah? There's a larger self. This is the Brahminic view from pre-Buddha's time. They believe that in this world, while we are weak and we are limited, there's this larger self, which is basically Brahma. And they believe that Brahma created the world. And that our smaller self comes from the larger self. And the aim is to ultimately return back to the source. Yeah. Sounds familiar? Yeah, a lot of the atheists, a lot of the theistic religion all have similar structure like that. Just like different names, different means to return to the source. Yeah. Then the Buddha came along and then started poking around at things. Yeah. He didn't have it easier. People didn't just say, he's the Buddha, let's just give up, like he's enlightened, we are not, he's awakened, we are not, let's just join him. They came to him, they questioned him, they stayed their stand, they defended, the Buddha asked them questions. Yeah, and it's through this conversation that the Buddha asked them, what exactly is self? And they basically have this idea that the self is something that is permanent and eternal. Yeah? Think about it. Who is it that was playing when you were 5-year-old? When you were 5-year-old, you're 7-year-old playing with some toy. Can you remember when you were playing with some toys, having so much fun? Who was that? It's you, right? It's me, not somebody else, not some kid, but that's you. That's the instinctive response. Yeah, seems to be the case. Yeah. Then who was the person who go to school subsequently and then feel so stressed during exam? It was also me. Also I. Then when you get the results and you got good grades, who was the one who felt relief and joy? Again, me. And is it the same me as now? Most, without referring to model answer according to Abhidharma, this and that, most people, even Buddhists, monks or nuns, doesn't matter, we would almost instinctively say, yeah, it's me who did all that, isn't it? The same was the case in the Buddha's time for the Brahmins, for the ascetics, for the Nigantas, the various kind of ascetics. They all had this view. Yeah. Except that they are more precise in defining it. Yeah. And then they consider, okay, well, if it's the same me, then despite this physical body changing, it has some essence that never changed. If it changed, then it's not the same thing. Then it's not me. Yeah? Would you now suddenly consider something else that is not you to be you? You wouldn't. But in fact, by agreeing that it was you who was eating when you were young, who was playing when you were young, who was stressed during exams, who was happy with the results, by saying that, we are basically agreeing that something different is actually me also. You see the predicament here? And this is the predicament that the Buddha posed to the Brahmins, the ascetics. He basically asked a simple question, well, if it's something permanent, can you find permanence in the physical form? And the answer was, no, you cannot find permanence in that. Can you find something eternal among the other aggregates, such as within the sense aggregate, the sensations aggregate? Can you find anything that is permanent? Yeah. Or what we usually call feelings? You can't. How about your perception of things? Can you find anything that is permanent, everlasting? Or is it? Or maybe you can find something that's unchanging. And the Buddha would go through the 5 aggregates: form, feelings, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. There are some seats here. Yes. So, when asked in this way, interestingly, those who came to challenge the Buddha, or whom the Buddha spoke to, it took me a while to realize this. But if you think about it, at the very least, these are decent people. Yeah? They, when asked a question, they answer forthrightly, in a factual way, speaking from the heart. So when they realize that, the Buddha is correct, they basically say, it's impermanent. I cannot find something like that. And that's what got them enlightened. They accepted that they are wrong. But then there are also those, to be honest, there are also those in the Buddha's time, when the Buddha talk to them, and they establish their view that A is correct, the Buddha questioned different aspects of A, and when they found that they are wrong, they go and shift the goalposts. Shift to B. Then when the Buddha break it down again, they shift to C. And after a few more times, the Buddha say, you are like an eel. Yeah, you know the eel? Yeah, the water snake. Yeah. In fact, there's a sutra called the simile of the water snake. The water snake simile. Yeah. This is where the Buddha bokeh hilao. So people are quite surprised when I bokeh, like, well, my sifu bokeh, what do you expect? From the Buddha's time all the way down to my late ordination master, bokeh. When it comes to truth, cannot keep. And so, when people ask the Buddha question, he will answer, and then when he finds that they are not being honest or truthful, and they just keep, like a water snake. The Buddha actually called them out on it and said, "You are like a water snake. You are not holding your ground. You are, Some of them, being cornered this way, would like, yes, and then the description is very cute. And he was defeated. His head drooped down, his shoulder drooped down, and he sighed. I am defeated. So ask yourself this. Do you find anything that is eternal, persistent since young, other than your name? Yeah? Think about it first, okay? Don't be so quick to give an answer. Think about it. In the Heart Sutra class, I have this exercise, the question of who am I? Yeah? Maybe at the end of the session, I can show you all. You all can go and do it. Those who have done it in the Heart Sutra class, worthwhile to do it again. Yeah? Because I have found that each time when we do it, we may highlight different things. And it actually tells us what we are more attached to. Yeah? It actually tells us what we hold dear to ourselves. What we call I. So the first two, fairly straightforward. How about the third one? In control. Yeah. If it's something that is not within your control, how can you say that it's you or yours to begin with? So in a way, it's very easy to understand. Number 3. Yeah. But to see that, to understand that in terms of our own existence. Yeah. And then to go beyond the understanding and to see it in our day-to-day life. How we are always grasping for control. Yeah. It's almost unconscious, We are just, we just like to have more certainty. Control is a dirty word. When is the last time you used the word control? Either, you lose control of the car, not so nice, or we say that the person is a control freak. Yeah, and usually used in a relationship, either between spouse or your boss and yourself. Yeah. But control doesn't always mean that. Like for example, when you learn tennis, I remember, was it in JC? I didn't take tennis as the PE sports. Yeah, I did volleyball. But likewise, whether it's tennis, volleyball, or any form of racket games or sports for that matter, if you have power without control, what are you going to do? Home runs, in the wrong game. Yeah. So control itself is not bad. Yeah. Everything from being able to write, that's control, You try, those who are right-hander, try writing with a left hand today. You'll feel really helpless. Left-hander, try using a right hand. Unless you are, what's that term? By something. MB, oh, very good. Thank you very much. Yeah, what? Dexterous. Yeah. So control itself, I must highlight. Instead of thinking, so this is a wrong view, so we should lose control over everything. No. Having control is not a bad thing. Observing precepts is self-control. Isn't it? So control itself is not a bad thing. But to realize that we don't have absolute control, that's the tough part. Because we do have partial control. Everybody raise your right hand. Raise your right hand. Yes, that includes you. Raise your right hand. I've done this experiment so many times. Yeah. It took me a while, but I managed to control all of you to raise your hand. Now raise your left hand. This is a very interesting class. Usually, the second time round, lesser people will raise their hands. In this class, I seem to have more people raise their hands. A bit slow. So did I control you all? Let's try that again. Raise both your hands. Oh, you all willingly submit your control. Please. Everything can. Alright, please transmit $100,000 to this number. If ever, okay, you see me ask that, either that's an imposter or have gone mad. Yeah, either way, don't listen to me. Let me give you my word. I will never ever ask you to do that. So if ever anyone look like me, ask you to do that, that's not me. Either in the literal sense or, mentally I'm deranged. Yeah. Even in my dream, I don't do that. So with that as a definition, this was how those religious people in the Buddha's time, they look at themselves and this world. Yeah. I want to say something for them as well. And that is that they are not simpletons who just randomly come up with this idea. Yeah. A lot of them who founded the different schools, they founded it also based on their own experience. And a lot of them are very good meditators, In fact, if they are alive today, you cannot rival them. Yeah, they sit very well. They actually even have some of the spiritual psychic power. The difference is that they drew the wrong conclusion. They saw half the picture and then thought that was the complete picture, and so they thought, that's it. So in numerous sutras, the Buddha cautioned against having the wrong insight, if you will, drawing the wrong conclusion. The other day I was sharing with one student about how it is very common for those who learn Dharma to be less interested in some of the other spiritual practices. And then those who are like meditators, tendency is tend to let me just meditate, let me just practice. Maybe not this class, Maybe not this class. Maybe this class, all of you are like, attend Dharma class, attend meditation class. Yeah, 1 hour of meditation, 1 hour of Dharma reading. Okay. But for most people, we tend to just, go lopsided one way or another. And the consequences or the problem with that is that there's a Chinese saying, 这个行而不解，盲修瞎练；解而不行，空中造楼。Yeah. So the pair are complementary. Yeah. On one hand, if you were to, let me flip the order again. If you were to just study the Dharma, do a lot of research, do a lot of study and so on and so forth, but don't do the practice, then what happens? You are like building castles in the air. Yeah, no ground, no foundation. Yeah, no foundation. On the other hand, if you are too eager to practice and then you ignore the teachings, then 盲修瞎练. Yeah, so you are practicing blindly. I gave this further analogy. It is like today, can you see my heart, physical heart? Cannot see, If you can see, don't raise your hand. See me after this. Yeah, so we cannot see. But if I were to, so you cannot see my lungs, my other organs also. Yeah. But if I were to go to a clinic and they take an X-ray, then they can see. There will be a picture. With that equipment, it enhances our ability to see. But to be able to make sense of that picture, not all pictures are so clear-cut, You see, people have 2 lungs, this fella got one hand inside. Yeah, it's oftentimes not so clear-cut. That's why sometimes, the diagnosis can be a bit, then they need to do multiple tests to confirm the results. My point is, even though the X-ray machine enhances our sight, but if you had not been trained medically, you cannot read the outcome also. You will misread the outcome. You will misinterpret the outcome. But if you were to go through all the medical studies and lecture and so on, but you don't have an X-ray machine, can you do anything? Yeah, you can tell people all about how it's going to look like, but you cannot see yourself. And this is akin to the practice and the teachings. Both must come together. Yeah? They must come together. When we come back to this, then this view of a self, this attachment to the self, the challenge is for us to go and examine, yeah, and do repeated checks. Is this actually present? Yeah? Do we actually still have this problem? Yeah. In the Yogacara school, we say that, yes, as long as you are not enlightened, we all have this problem. Yeah. And this problem is being attributed to the number 7 consciousness, the tainted mind. Yeah. This tainted mind has this wrong view of a self, the clinging on to all the things as mine, me, and myself. Yeah. First, Wilson, he raised his hand earlier. Yes. Mm. Mm. There are different approaches. There are some schools or some researchers who try to do a map. Some of the maps can be meaningful, but not canonical, meaning that you cannot find those references directly. Yeah, but suggesting that memories are linked to the 8 consciousness is a very close match. Yeah, it's a very close match. Yeah. In a way, yeah, but don't bet your life on it. Don't bet your life on it. What are memories? In a way, it's interesting that Wilson mentioned about memories, because if you ask yourself, what linked you to the 5-year-old girl or boy today? What links you to? If you have a picture of yourself in your wallet, you are quite a narcissistic person. but let's say you go on, your IC for example, 5-year-old IC. Come on, why are you kidding? The point is, if you look at that photo, yeah, some of us may not have changed much. So because there's some kind of semblance, so you could infer and you could say that, yeah, that's probably you when you were younger. But think about it, there are many people who look alike, you know. So does it mean that just because you look alike, you're the same person? Then how about twins? They are physically, some of them really look identical, and they are here. If they can be here standing next to each other, are they the same person? No, they are still not the same person. So in which case then, what is the thing that distinguishes your 5-year-old self, so to speak, from another 5-year-old self? Our memories. Our memories link all this together. You take away the memory, who is that person? Who is that kid? Why is that kid crying like that? Gu Niang. Yeah. Back in 2003, when I was in Phoenix having a stopover, then I was cornered to give a Dharma sharing by the devotees there. So one of the devotees actually asked me this question. Yeah. How about the DNA? How about the genome itself, the sequences? My reply back then was basically no. Today my reply is not an absolute no. I don't know. Yeah. From a very certain no. Yeah. Today I can't say I know or don't know. I really don't know. Yeah. Well, so don't be so disappointed because it's not canonical. Yeah, I'm just going along with you to say that it's quite an okay match. Yeah, quite an okay match. Yeah. Mm. Mm. Well, perhaps that's why Alzheimer patients, like they have this identity issue, you know. Yeah, they are often described to feel very lost, and some of them then go into depression because they are like, there's no anchor point. It's very hard for us to imagine this, but there was this movie that I watched about Alzheimer. Yeah, this lady who happened to be, I think she's a linguistic expert, something. Yeah, can't remember who is the actress, but it talked about how slowly different parts of her ability just go away, you know. And at some point, although she's a linguist, but just to give a speech, she has to have this speech there and then underlined and highlighted so that she knows where she stopped. When she speaks, she will have to highlight and then, you know, continue. Yeah, it was very moving for me watching that. Yeah. In a way, if you think about it, our attachment, we really do have an attachment to our abilities, you know. Who we are is defined by so many things. Our ability to speak, our skills, or what we think is our talent, be it our professional skills, or even for housewives or homemakers, ability to cook. How about our ability to care for our family members? Yeah, it's a very scary thought. But the Buddha's approach is not to simply tell us some comforting thing. Yeah, his approach sometimes can be quite harsh. He just tells us in the face and say, "Well, this is how it is. Deal with it, no? It's impermanent." Yeah. But within this seemingly cold-hard truth is this warmth that, hey, in which case, how should you be living your life? Because the irony is, when we think that there's permanence, then we also sometimes take things for granted. In fact, many people whom I know of, when they get smacked in the face with the hard cold reality of impermanence of life, it often becomes a very important turning point for them. Yeah. So perhaps the Buddha wasn't so cold-hearted. He was just trying to get us to rethink our life. Hang on. Now to her. Yes. Approximately 43.7% and for those who are taking notes, please ignore the last line. See me after this. What is the proportion? It varies. Yeah, it really varies. But I must say, if you find yourself only doing one of them, that's not the right proportion. Yeah, it's easy to know what is not the right proportion. Not easy to find the perfect proportion. Yeah, and if you remember correctly, it's 43.7. And if you want to be precise, 43.69 actually. Ignore the last. Let the record show that the last line was just a joke. So, yes. What was your question? Huh? No, I do remember that there's you, and then she wanted to ask another question, but I wanted to just ignore and then move on because we are still. But what is your question? No, I didn't say that. Wilson asked me, can we say, there are some people who say that memory is actually inside, or is equal to, it's not just inside, it's that it's equal to a consciousness. I say, yeah, that's so far the closest match people have suggested. Yeah, but I mentioned that it's not canonical. So it means that if you look at the sutras, it doesn't give this kind of one-to-one match. Yeah. Continuum, yes. There's a continuum of this consciousness stream. Yeah. There's this phrase, the stream of consciousness. Yeah. So if you look at a stream or a river, I've mentioned before the Kallang River, you cannot say this is it, this is the river. Because the moment you say it, it has flowed off. It's no longer there. Yeah. If it's the shape, then you take out the water lah. But if it's the water, it's not constant. So what is the river? The river is just a convenient name to call this body of flowing water. If it's not flowing, it's a lake. Yeah? Very precise definition. Is this flowing body of water that can vary in shape and sizes over time? Yeah. If there's no more body of water, then there's no more river. Yeah, that's just the banks. So, I need to come back and complete this part. So, and from this, then arise ego, pride, 我慢, pride of the self, self-pride. And then the fourth is the craving. Craving to the self. Yeah. So you have delusion of the self, view of the self. Yeah. You have pride in the self, and then craving of this self. Yeah. When we think about pride, we often think about those who are proud, haughty, arrogant, and so on. How about those who have inferiority complex? Yeah. In Buddhism, we say those who have inferiority complex also have a strong sense of ego. Yeah. It's just different expression of that same element. Yeah. If there's no self, if it's truly no self, then there's nothing to be inferior about. Yeah. So, if a person can actually reflect on no self, we actually remove both ends. Both extremes is just dissolved. Yeah. So let me just complete this portion first. 第七末那识略有三位. So what we have discussed, 人我见相应位. So人我见相应位. So we have the view, and in this case, it is not just the view of a self, but it's the view. This is the interesting part, because here there's 人我见 and then 法我见. So when we talk about self, we tend to talk about the human being identity kind of self. But here, it goes beyond the human thing. Yeah? It's about attachment to an essence. So here is essence of a being, a person. The second one is essence of things. Yeah? Essence of things. Yeah? The third one, 平等性智相应位. So this is the later part when we become enlightened already. We currently a bit not quite there. So let's look at the first one. 人我见相应位，就是在一切有漏心生起时. So these are This is a metaphor, 有漏. 有漏 literally means leaking. So, is your heart leaking? What is this metaphor? The Buddha used this as a metaphor, this metaphor as a description, where if you have a jar, have an urn, and you fill it with water, normal jar you will just fill up, you'll be complete. But if your jar or your urn or your pail has holes inside, then what will happen? It will leak out. It will leak out. A lot of things you cannot contain. So, in this case, the description is that when we are in this state where there's holes within us, then we will leak out 漏出烦恼, defilements. Just keep outflow of defilements. Outflows of defilement. So this word, this 有漏, usually not translated as leaking. Usually talking about outflows. Outflows of defilements. Okay? So this first category, 人我见相应位, where the mind相应, I would translate as resonate. To resonate or to connect. You know, when in Singapore we often say, are we of the same frequency? It is very interesting because in Singapore, somehow if you tell any Singaporeans that, same frequency or not, everybody understands. Not everybody study physics, but all of us understand. But this is basically the physics principle. When two things, when an object is of a certain resonant frequency, and a certain wave were to collide with it, of the same frequency, then you have resonance. You have resonance. And that is called the resonance frequency. In this case, it is that the heart, our mind, our heart, resonate with different things. Every day when you read newspaper or you surf the web, there are many information. There are so much information. But we resonate with different things. So for some of us, we may resonate with world news. Others, the social news. And there are those who resonate with advertisements. And among advertisements, there are those who resonate with John Little sale. Then there are those who resonate with sports. Different resonance. Here it's saying, when we are unenlightened, with outflows, with defilements, this is known as being resonating with 人我见, with the view of the I, identity view, me, this kind of view. When we resonate with this, then in this state, we have a lot of outflows of defilements. This is one aspect that you can readily verify yourself. Check yourself. When is the last time you got upset and agitated and angry and everything? Is it when you have more resonance, more connection with me, I, or less? Tend to be more. Okay? Tend to be more. Now, you may find that there are some occasions where it seems to be a bit blur or hazy. It's okay. Note down and ask yourself, what exactly was the trigger point? Oftentimes when you really focus on what is the trigger point, but you must be able to do this objectively without, getting emotional and then start crying and then go into depression. If you're at that stage where you have this tendency, then don't do analysis. Avoid at all costs. If you are able to not respond in that way, then you can do the analysis. And that is why at the initial part of our practices, we usually don't encourage you to start doing analysis of your own, your mental states, all those things. Just go and, when you do meditation, just observe your breath. And half the time you're wondering, is that it? Yeah. But because at the initial stage, if we immediately ask you to observe your mind, you get sucked into it, drawn into it, like you are being thrown into the white water rapids. You lose control. Yeah. Then you cannot observe objectively. This is where the teachings and the practice will come together. Yeah, but even now, as I tell you, it's just a concept to most of us. Yeah, but if you were to go and try to do the practice, then you know, this part can only happen later. Yeah, and that's why you need both parts to be done in tandem. So, 就是在一切有漏心生起时，通于一切异生也就是凡夫。So 异生，this is equals to 凡夫。This basically means unenlightened beings. That means when you are at the stage of being unenlightened, this is what happened. But if you look further, this part is interesting. 二乘有学. So this is the first category that is under this. That means this is unenlightened, very clear. How about 二乘? If you recite past pathful, then you'll remember inside there's one 二乘有学即无学. Yeah. In various sutras, this term would come up. 二乘. So literally, the two vehicles. Which two vehicles? We are not talking about bars, all those things. It's referring to the Shravaka Yana and the Pachaka Yana. In Buddhism, in the sutra, okay, not about which lineage you are from. If you look at Avatamsaka Sutra, you look at the Saddhamma something Sutra, Huayenzing, the three vehicles that is being mentioned by the Buddha directly in the sutra refers to Shravaka vehicle, firstly. Secondly, Pachika. Pratyeka. So this is Pali, this is Sanskrit. I may sometimes get the spelling a bit off. So if you find that there's some mistakes in my spelling, feel free to correct me. Yeah, sometimes I still make such mistakes. So this is 1, this is 2, and then number 3, the Bodhisattva Yana. So these are considered in Buddhism the 3 vehicles, Sanchen. Senwen. Yes. Yes, Yuanjue or Dujue. Xiaochen is referring to these two. Yes. So, this is literally the hearers. Yeah. This can be the solitude, Buddhas. And the Chinese is Senwen. Is this how you write Du? And of course, Pusa is QED. So, These are the three known vehicles. And in the Lotus Sutra, then it established that, in fact, what the Buddha have in mind is the Ekayana. Yeah? Ekayana. Some of you attended Pali, right? What is one? Eka. What is two? Liangka. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Okay, Ekayana, the one vehicle. Okay? That, in fact, ultimately the Buddha has in mind for all to attain Buddhahood. Yeah. But for different people at different stages, then maybe we need to go by this path and practice first. Yeah. For some people, maybe the solitude Buddha path. Then yet others, the Bodhisattva path. But ultimately, for all to attain Buddhahood. I'm giving you this framework not to convince you of anything. Okay? If you feel that you are super Theravada, continue. Good for you. I'm very happy. Yeah? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. If you feel that, wow, jialat, next year you intend to attain Arahanthood, and now Sifu, tell me about this, so what am I supposed to do? If you already have it in your calendar, next year, to attain Arahanthood, please go ahead, no problem. Yeah? Yeah, no problem. The Buddha don't sabo people, huh? Yeah. So, I'm telling you this just so that you understand what is this Chen. Because this Chen is with reference to the Sun Chen. Yeah? Where do you get the Chen? 1 and 2. These two together. This is considered the Chen. Yeah? But Chen doesn't mean that Chen refers to the path. Okay? It doesn't guarantee that you choose this path, you are immediately enlightened. Okay? Yeah. So, for both those who are Stravaka and those who are Pachika path, there are those who are already enlightened, like fully enlightened Arahant, those who are, let's say, the Pachika Buddha. But there are also those who are still practicing on this path. Okay? Here, Chen You Xue, only referring to Chen You Xue. Again, what is You Xue? What is Wu Xue? You Xue. Okay, wait, let me write it this way. We have You Xue, we have Wu Xue. And then we have Fei You Xue. Fei Wu Xue. So we have 1, 2, 3. You Xue. You Xue is with reference to Wu Xue. Who are the Wu Xue? Let's start with that. The Wu Xue is literally no more learning. Who do not need to learn anymore? Arahants. In the Shravaka case of the Shravaka path, when they have reached Arahanthood, that is the end fruit, end goal. Yeah? No more learning. Wu Xue. If you are practicing on the Pachika or Pratika path, what must you attain before you can be considered Wu Xue? No more learning. You must attain Pratika Buddhahood. You must reach your last life, and when you arise, you must check, is there any more Dharma? Oh, still Dharma. Okay, wait. There are different texts talking about this process. But the gist of it is that the Pratika Buddha arise in a time where there's no more Buddha Dharma. Yeah? Attain Buddhahood through his own effort. Yeah. When the person do that, then as far as this path is concerned, 无学, no more learning required. You have already completed, graduate, convocation, pass. So for these two categories, 无学 means this. How about 有学? 有学 refers to those who have reached the first stage of enlightenment, but have not reached the final stage of enlightenment. Why is it considered 有学? Because for this category, they do not regress anymore. There's no more regression. Today they are learning, tomorrow they are still learning. Continue to learn. For us, today we learn, tomorrow we ask a question, Sifu say no, don't reply you. Okay, I don't learn. Yeah. Today I learn, tomorrow I get scolded by Sifu. I don't learn. So, yes, Sotapanna and above. Yes. Actually, Sotapanna, here I'm referring to Sotapanna for this category, or for, if it applies to Pachika. So basically, all those categories within these two vehicles that has been enlightened but not reached the final fruit for its category, those are known as 有学. By virtue that they have no more regression, and because of that, they are always learning. But they have not completed, so there's still more to learn. There's more to learn, and they are still learning. So, 有学. Where are we? Are we 有学 or 无学? We are 有学. Wow, not bad, huh? Let me say that I'm very honored to be teaching this class with the Aryan Sangha here. If I have made any mistake in my explanation, please correct me. And so let me maybe explain a bit more. Then you may want to change your answer or not. So these two categories are both enlightened. Don't laugh, maybe she's really enlightened. Okay? We are 非有学,非无学. No, it's 非有学,非无学. We are not this nor this. Actually, we don't deserve any category. But the Buddha just have to still put us somewhere. You are not this, not that. In other words, you are neither. Okay? Not all of us, some of you may be under 有学. Okay? But most unenlightened, if you say that you are unenlightened, you must be under this group. Okay? Okay, you must be under this group. Huh? Can. You can say to me privately. You can say that. You can always say that to me privately. This is allowed. Okay? So here, for don't get so excited. So for this, those who is under this group, first of all, the very clearly unenlightened beings. This is the 非有学,非无学. Secondly, 二乘有学. So this is the group we are talking about here. Even for this group, still subjected to this. Still may have a bit of problem with this. Okay? Yes. Yes, I know you are going to ask this. Because for the Sotapanna, then by right it has removed all of that. What he's asking is Sakaya Ditti. Senjian. Is basically equivalent. Senjian. In the Pali text, it's called Sakaya Ditti. Ditthi means view. Sakaya refers to the body. Attachment to this body. But here, there are a few different opinions. One is that literally the physical body. The other one is this body of existence. That means the five aggregates. Yeah? Attachment to the five aggregates as me. Yeah? Huh? Identity view. What we have been talking about. The 我见. So, in the Mahayana tradition, some of the lineages view that for Sravaka, they still have attachment. Yeah, some. Okay. As far as I'm concerned, the enlightenment for Sravaka, it is enlightened. Okay. So from stage 1 onwards, by right, identity view has been removed. Yeah, has been removed. Yeah. Okay, has been removed. But notice that over here, when we talk about 人我见 and so on, prior to that, it is not simply just about the view as well. Yeah, not just about the view. There are 4 aspects, remember? Yeah, I mentioned earlier, the 4 aspects. There's a delusion, there's the view, there's the pride, there's the craving. Yeah. All these 4 are only fully removed when you reach Arahanthood. Only at Arahanthood, then it's completely removed. So, 二乘有学, then 七地以前知菩萨的有漏腥味. So, here Wilson is very happy because he always wants to know the precise which stage. Yeah, so there are 10 stages in the Bodhisattva path. Yeah, 3 time periods comprising 10 stages. Number 7 stage. Stage 7, you 七地以前, before stage 7. Yeah, before stage 7. Before stage 7, there can still be defilements. Yeah, and this kind of attachment to the self and so on and so forth. Okay? Yeah, so, Bodhisattva for stage 1, considered quite enlightened already, but not totally purified yet. Yeah, not totally purified. Only at stage 7, stage 8, then the wisdom, the removal of defilements, is considered to be equivalent to an arahant. So, last year when I was going through the Avatamsaka Sutra, there's this portion about the 10 stages. So he mentioned about how stage 7 and stage 8, there's a very interesting point here. That from stage 1 to 7, a Bodhisattva in the Mahayana teachings is considered superior to the Sravaka path. Okay, again, those who are hardcore Theravadan, hold your horses first. But it explains why. It says, it is not on its own merit that this person is superior, but it's due to the supreme aspiration, his vow, that he is considered to be greater. Only when he reached stage 8, then really, not just his vows, but his attributes, his purity is supreme and superior to all the 2 vehicles. Yeah. Now you may think, why compare so much? It's basically just telling you that this is, if you have reached this stage of purity, then you're considered a stage 8 Bodhisattva. Why is that important? If you have reached this stage, when you go and help people, you will not externally harm people also. Before that, prior to this, sometimes you're okay, sometimes you're not okay. Yeah? Your heart may still be very pure, you want to help people, but sometimes you help people, then 你越帮越忙哦。泥菩萨过江，自身难保。Very beautiful, metaphor. A bodhisattva that's made of clay, and you try to cross this river of samsara. You yourself have difficulty crossing. Halfway through, you dissolve in the river. Yeah. Yes, that would be a correct conclusion. Yes, at least you got this thing correct today. Very good. Yes. Yay. Huh? Yeah. So, at a later stage of this series, if we have time, I will give you more elaboration on the 10 stages also. Yeah. And again, these stages help us to have more interest, yeah, and confidence as we learn and progress. Wait, hang on. Wait, 做多马得。七地以前知菩萨的有漏腥味，由第七世缘阿拉耶识生起我见。Yeah. So again, through this resonance and connection, then arise self-view. Okay, arise self-view. Let me just jump ahead and share with you all. You may then ask, okay, so how do we purify these 7 consciousness? There may be different schools within Yogacara or different lineages, and they may have different opinion. But under the lineage that my late ordination master teach, he says, as far as unenlightened being is concerned, we cannot directly purify the 7 consciousness. We cannot. We can only manage number 6 consciousness, which is the discriminating mind. But how do you then deal with it? By making use of its habit to discriminate. But now you give it something wholesome to discriminate. Something positive to discriminate. Yeah? Something that is pure to discriminate. And as you discriminate in this way, what does it mean? As you read the Dharma, or that which is our words of purity, teachings that is about the truth, then you're basically, what do you call that? 换药不换汤. So I know, purposely switch it around. Yeah, because now you 换the药. Yeah? Instead of directly telling you, don't go and discriminate. Can or not? Some people can. Then they can just meditate, very quickly attain enlightenment. But most of us cannot. Ask you, don't discriminate. No, I must discriminate. So, you like to discriminate, let you go and discriminate. We have 100 things to discriminate. And through discriminating wholesome Dharma, then you plant new seeds. Yeah? And then you sow with the seeds, you start to plant new mental habits. And these new mental habits become the natural response. It become not immediately, become more and more natural. More and more natural. Yeah. In fact, we are doing this. Without learning Dharma, whatever you keep associating with, then that becomes your natural state of mind. Yeah? Your natural way of looking at things. It only look natural, but it's not inborn also. Yeah? You can cultivate new habits. In a way, the whole Buddhist practice is all about cultivating good new habits, wholesome habits. Yeah? Because we have this tendency to accumulate habits. Instead of telling us, stop, cannot. Most people cannot. So, accumulate new ones. And in this way, Chuan, the 8 consciousness become purified gradually. And when it becomes purified, then the first 7 that is being manifested by pure seeds cannot be impure. Yeah? And in that way, the 7 consciousness, which is basically the mind, just naturally, pure mind keep coming out. Pure mind keep coming out. Yeah? Yes. Yes. So, the good news is this. You don't have to purify all seeds to attain enlightenment. The moment you hit the critical point, yeah, everything changed. Yeah, and he will be correct. As a human, we have reached a certain potential already. The problem is that sometimes we act in an inhumane way. Yeah, we somehow succumb to our own selfish interests, and we feed this ego. Each time we succumb to our ego, then we undo the wisdom process. Yeah. So that it is possible. Yeah. And the very important thing is, you don't have to purify all seeds manually, every single one like that. Yeah. It is that once you purify the mechanism, then everything becomes purified. Yeah. I will go into more of that in the 8 consciousness. I know two of you still have questions you want to ask. Huh? Let me hear the questions and let me choose whether to answer. Yes. Yes. The impure seeds, we can only say that the seeds that have been activated in this life happen to be a bit better. We may well, and this is one message that really hit me many years back, that we actually also potentially have the seeds for hell. We have the seeds for all the 6 realms. It is just that at the moment of passing, in our last life, we happen to connect with some wholesome thoughts. Yeah. It's not like that unfair. All the seeds are all there waiting to sprout. It depends on what you connect with. Yeah. And that's why the 6 consciousness is important, because the 6 consciousness is one key factor for planting new seeds and nurturing existing ones. Yeah. And if you think about it, that's perhaps why the Buddha keep on saying, guard your mind, guard your discrimination, don't let it run wild. Yeah. And if you can do that, yeah, then although we have so much seeds, and instead of trying to purify every single one, if you are able to maintain that wholesome habits, then your seeds, although they are there, they cannot ripen. Yeah. When we come back after Chinese New Year, we will elaborate more on that. Thank you very much. Put our palms together. 愿消三障诸烦恼，愿得智慧真明了，不愿罪障悉消除，世世常行菩萨道。阿弥陀佛，起立。诸位至诚礼佛行3问讯礼1问讯，再问讯，3问讯。Till you meet again, may be guided and protected by the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. 新年快乐，吉祥如意，阿弥陀佛。And New Year 乖乖哈。